Hey, Adam Hooksema here from Projection Hub, and in this video I'm going to walk you through our SBA Concierge Service. Now, before I do that, just a little bit of background on me. I spent 12 years as an SBA lender and approved over 1,500 SBA loans during my time as Executive Director of an organization called Bankable. Now, Bankable is kind of a unique organization that we were making SBA loans to small businesses that were not yet bankable at a traditional bank. And so a lot of the clients that we worked with had already been declined by a traditional SBA lender and then referred over to us. So I kind of earned my stripes in SBA working with the hardest deals to get approved. And so because of that experience, I feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to help you walk through the maze that is SBA and really kind of take you through that process step by step. So I've got a few pictures here, just some proof here that, here's some pictures winning some awards and some hardware from the SBA. And so kind of demonstrating that those years of experience and working on a lot of SBA deals. So what exactly does the SBA Concierge Service include? Well, the first thing we're going to do is a 30-minute consultation call with me. I'm going to try to understand your project, understand the deal, review any data or information that you can provide to us, and then we'll come up with a game plan and a strategy. We'll start pulling together the package, so the tax returns that are probably going to be needed, any projections or business plan if you already have those. If not, that's something we can always talk about helping you with. We're going to pull together resume and personal financial statement. We're going to review all of this and make sure there are no red flags. And if there are red flags, we're going to try to hit those head on ahead of time before presenting that to a lender and potentially leaving the lender with a bad taste in their mouth. And so make sure that the package has a nice bow on it and it's ready to go. I'm going to put together an executive summary, kind of a one-pager summarizing your deal and explaining the opportunity to lenders, and so that we can easily present that. At that point, I'm going to try to help you find the right SBA lender. And so that could be as simple as someone in my network, someone I've worked with in the past that I think would like a deal. It could be utilizing the publicly available SBA loan data. So we put together a SBA lender finder tool that allows us to sort and filter the publicly available SBA loan data to find the exact right lender who has experience in your industry, in your state, in your specific situation. So it's pretty cool. It allows us to sort and filter all that publicly available data. So if we wanted to say, show us the top SBA lenders who have made the most acquisition loans of car washes in the state of Texas, press a few buttons, sort and filter, and boom, we've got a list of those top lenders. And so oftentimes that could be who we end up start reaching out to, along with maybe lenders that we've already worked with in our network. At that point, hopefully get a couple offers, at least from lenders, a couple term sheets, and you can review those term sheets, decide on which lender you'd like to try to move forward with. And at that point, they'll probably ask for a deposit to take the deal into underwriting. When it's in underwriting, that's where you're going to get beat up on and poked and prodded and by the underwriters at the bank. And I'm going to try to help walk you through that process and help answer questions along the way. Hopefully then you get a full approval. And at that point, we'll kind of walk through towards the closing table. Now, because we are experienced and confident in our experience in this process, we actually offer a guarantee for the SBA Concierge Service. So what that means is if you do not get approved for an SBA loan, we're going to refund 100% of what you paid for the SBA Concierge Service. One caveat here I want to be clear on: if you need us for putting together your projections or writing your business plan, we do have those as additional add-on services. That is not refundable. I have a team, they want to get paid, they expect a salary. And so because of that, we can't do all of that work for free as well. But the SBA Concierge Service, we do offer as a refundable work. So again, if we can't get it approved, we're going to refund what you've paid for the SBA Concierge Service. Now, because of that, and because I'm just one person and I have limited time, and also I don't want to be working on deals that we can't end up getting done because I don't want to refund you. I want you to get approved for a loan, right? And so for that reason, we do some vetting and pre-qualification work. So let me kind of show you what those pre-qualification criteria would look like. Okay, so there's a form that you'll fill out and kind of acknowledging these different eligibility requirements. But here's kind of what we think you're going to need. Credit score of 650 or higher. You need to have relevant experience in the industry if you're a startup or an acquisition. Now, if you're an existing business, you're already operating the business, that counts as industry experience, right? All owners 20% or more will need to personally guarantee the loan. So you need to be comfortable personally guaranteeing the loan, all owners 20% or more. Also, if you have equity in your home, you should be willing to pledge that as collateral if it's required. It's not always required, but it often will be required. And so we need to make sure that you're willing to do that. And I know that's a serious request. And so one thing I would encourage you to do if you are married and you have a spouse, and talk to your spouse about pledging the home as collateral collateral before you get any further in the process. We don't want to kind of get to the closing table and then surprise the spouse with pledging the home as collateral, right? And so I would make sure to do that sooner rather than later. You also must be a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent residence. The business has to be for profit, and you can't have defaulted on federal loans in the past. Now, there's one more thing I want to make sure that I kind of outline on qualification. That's related to down payment. So depending on specific loan request, different levels of down payment might be required. But my general rule of thumb is that you should have 20% of the loan request or the total project cost, 20% of the total project cost available. And probably what you're going to need to do is invest 10% of it as a down payment as equity in the business. And the other 10% you should have as personal savings, whether that's cash or easily liquidated investments. Because the lender wants you to invest some down payment or some equity into the business, but they also don't want you to put your last dollar into that down payment of the business. They want you to have some personal savings, some post-closing liquidity, they'll call it, after the deal is done. They want to make sure you have some savings still. And so you should really think about, if you have $1 million total project cost, the way you need to think about that is you need to have $200,000 available, 20% of the total. 100,000 of it, 10%, you're going to put in as an investment. You'd borrow 900,000. You'd have another 100,000 that you have in personal savings for a rainy day in case things don't all go to plan. So that's kind of the basics of what we would expect in terms of qualification, and hopefully that all makes some sense. So if you can kind of acknowledge all of those things, you're probably a good fit for an SBA loan. And so we're going to kind of qualify you, and if it looks like you'd be a strong candidate, then we'd look to move forward with the SBA Concierge Service with you. So hopefully it's going to be a helpful process for you. I know SBA can be kind of intimidating and complex, and so we're here to try to help just walk you through that step by step and make that as easy as possible. So if you have any questions about that, reach out to us at support@ProjectionHub.com. I look forward to working with you. Thanks.